We have some breaking news. The fired Minneapolis police officer, Derek Chauvin, has been arrested for the death of George Floyd. Of course, we'll have to see whether that is ultimately the outcome. But we have seen video of him with his knee on Floyd's neck. That, of course, has sparked outrage across the country, leading to violent protests. Floyd was being arrested for a nonviolent forgery crime, or at least investigated for one. He kept saying he could not breathe before he stopped moving and then became unresponsive. It's unclear what charges the officer will face. Of course, we'll stay on top of that to let you know. And joining us now to weigh in on this latest development is Executive Director of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump, Bruce LeVell. Bruce, thanks for joining us here. As we see this kind of thing, I'm always interested in what you might have to say about this, because getting justice is one thing, but burning down businesses, you're a small business owner yourself.
Yep.
That's got to be a little disturbing.
Yeah, it's sad. Thanks for having me, Bob. I can't tell you, my phone just blows up all night, all morning. Right now, as we speak, questions and tweets and et cetera. And, I have to tell you that it's sad. The sad part about this, Bob, this is kind of interesting, because I actually served on a police academy board for 2 years here. And there's one thing I noticed years back, and Atlanta has done that in some of the cities. They've adopted this Officer Explorer program where they recruit local kids out of the high schools and have them come in and work in the police stations and get acclimated and entice them to have a career as a police officer in their community. So then there's a connect with all the folks in the community. Oh, that's Bob Sellers. He grew up here. We've kind of gotten away from that and did the nationwide searches and bring other folks in who are not acclimated with cultures. I am not justifying this officer's needs. I'm going deeper into the fact of the proactive solutions to help these city and municipalities on diversity and reconciliation. So it is sad to see that they would turn around and blow up the very things that we try to do in these particular opportunity zones, these underserved communities, to bring a Target in, to bring a good grocery store in, and we turn around and they get bombed and torched.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because of the hard work of the majority, Bob, of the great men and women in those communities are outnumbered by a small percentages who loot and rob, Bob.
Yeah, I have a good friend who is a police officer, and he points out things to me that I don't always think about. And that program you're talking about, even if those kids don't become police officers, think of the good talk they take around their schools. So they say, yeah, I know those police officers. So they develop a relationship, which is really good.
Sir.
Now, as you look at this, and we know the history of our country going back many years and many decades, we've seen the Rodney King thing. We've seen all kinds of very trying times for us. What do you think needs to happen here to try to satisfy some people that legitimately want justice done?
Well, I still have to put the responsibility back on us, Bob. We the people, by the people, black, white, tall, small, Hispanic, whatever, short, whatever. And I think it's our responsibility, the community, the churches, the synagogues, the faith-based organizations, the small businesses, which we have a great hold in our community. Bob, I have my police chief and officers on cell speed dial. That's where justice reform is, where we, the people, we engage our police force as well as our faith base. We get to know each other, whether we're black and white. And Dr. King always said, our people perish because we don't take a chance to get to know each other or understand what culture. And so it stays in a segregated bubble, Bob. And then sooner or later, with unfortunately the great fake news that's inundated on the social media platforms and the cut and paste and all the viral stuff that goes out there, ignites it.
Yeah.
And it undermines the great works of my father and my uncles and myself, as well as being in this community. I'm 56, Bob. It undermines the great value. Bob, the vice president is here right now as we speak at a black bank, right here in Atlanta, having discussions about just, access to capital and growing your business and your black generational wealth. Administration has done a tremendous job on it. It's like, no, guys, stop. We got some good communication going here, Bob.
Yeah, and
you're emotional about this.
And you're a good representative of that community as well as the administration. And Bruce, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yes.
We are
Thanks
waiting.
for asking.
Thank you, Bruce.